What's up, y'all? It's Annabelle with That Good Shit, and I am here with the one and only
Toro y Moi.
Toro y Moi. Before we get into it, I just have to say how big of a fan I am of your music. I've really grown up with it, and a lot of my own creative journey has been inspired by what you do. So thank you for what you do. Just have to give you your flowers real fast. How are you feeling today?
Feel good, rested. Got my 8 hours in last night for the first time in like a long time. I just got finished with a little small tour, so yeah, just recovering.
Beautiful. You do have an 8 hours of sleep glow about you today.
Yeah.
We're walking with the extra skip in our step. And you just came back from Amine's Best Day Ever Fest in Portland, which had a super cool lineup. How was that?
It was beautiful. Portland is gorgeous, especially in the summertime. The lineup was on point. I got to meet KARRAHBOO, hang out with Adam for a bit. Bummed I missed the first day, but glad I could be part of the fest. Yeah, it was a good scene.
It looked really cool. Are you a KARRAHBOO fan? And if so, what is your favorite KARRAHBOO song?
Box the 40.
I love Box the 40. She said, on a date, and I feel like Dorothy because I want to go home. Yeah. Big shout out to KARRAHBOO. We love her. Is KARRAHBOO a fan of your music? Do you know?
Yeah, she came up and said what's up, and we both just sort of praised each other for a sec. It was pretty cool.
That's a beautiful, beautiful link up. I'm glad to know that happened. Even though I wasn't there, I'm really happy that occurred. This is probably a question you've gotten many times throughout your career, but I think our audience would be really happy to hear it. I would love to hear the origin story of the name Toro y Moi.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of little things that sort of factored in, but I think the main one was not wanting to do like something with the in the name. At the time, I was in a couple of bands that had the word the in front of the name, and it was becoming too popular with like the Strokes at the time, or like whoever just that era, that indie sleaze era. There was a lot of the bands, and I really was I might have been inspired by Pedro the Lion to go with Toro y Moi, now that I think about it. And then there's Yo La Tengo, and I was like attracted to like Spanish names, and then I was like, I need to switch it up, and so I added a French word to it. It's a very nonsensical name.
Right.
But I was 15 and now I'm 37, so I kept it.
You stuck with it? It's aged well. Does it translate to anything in particular?
The bull in me is sort of like grabbing the bull by the horns sort of metaphor. Also, the bullshit that life can present, the
Right.
bull in me. Somewhat poetic.
Yeah, quite poetic, I think. Very beautiful. And outside of making music yourself, you do so many other things. You run a record label, you're producing with other people, you're doing a lot of cool like visual stuff. You're a very busy man. You do a lot of things. What does it look like for you maintaining balance with all those things that you do?
It's something that took me a second to understand because I really didn't start diving into the visual arts again until like 2016. I realized I wanted something to fall back on while I'm not touring. So I just started reaching out, doing more visual art and graphic design. And then the label took off too, and that's something actually I've kind of slowed down on, just focusing on tour right now. But that's a big one too, is just focusing on less. Oh, look. There's a dog pooping. But yeah, I think partitioning your time, it took me maybe just last year, no, 2020. That's when I started like literally putting in like self-care day, workout day in my GCal, just to really like help me not double book things. Before I was just sort of doing it mentally and being like, I'm gonna run today or whatever. But actually planning things is kind of how that's the only way it can happen.
Yeah, I like that. I need to start like putting my workouts in my GCal.
Yeah, I do everything like down to friend hangs. Like I'm like, Wednesdays, it's my flex day where I can hang out with friends last minute.
What's your favorite thing to do with your friends? What's your favorite way to spend time with the people you love?
I'm friends with lots of dog people, so we like to walk our dogs together, find a trail. Coffee, usually. My studio is kind of a hub. We just like to hang out in the studio, too.
Very fun, chill times with Toro y Moi and all of his friends. I'd love to talk about Whole Earth a little bit. We're very excited to see that coming our way. New album incoming, bringing a whole new variety of vibes because every project, you open up a whole new world of sound. And it's so exciting. It's giving pop punk. Yeah. It's giving a little bit of like SoundCloud rap, you know? Tell me a bit about the sonic influences that are going into this new project.
Well, all of these sounds on Whole Earth were sort of bubbling probably since like Soul Trash, I would say. Once I did Soul Trash, it sort of stuck with me, and I was like, I want to just keep pushing this like moody hip-hop sound further.
Yeah.
And the next thing I knew, I was adding bass lines to it, and that just added like this pop punk element. Yeah, just sort of fine-tuned everything from there once I found what I wanted to reference. I never thought I would be referencing pop punk. I mean, if anything, I'm talking about the bass lines.
Yeah.
They're very Mark Hoppus-esque.
Indeed.
And I'm a big fan of Blink since high school, so it feels like it's time for it to have its moment again.
It's definitely that time. I'm very excited about it. Is there any other artists in particular that you were listening to during the creation of this album?
You know, I'm listening to a lot of like people I work with. Like I just finished producing Elijah Kessler's EP. I recorded Enumclaw's EP, and like, you know, these are grunge and rap sort of influences and shoegaze influences all sort of influencing me. Not on purpose, but just by proxy, and I try to just find where the universal sounds are going.
Right.
I also observe like what's going on in the mainstream. Rap is going in a grungier direction too, and I just sort of try to anticipate where I think I fit in that picture.
I think you're bringing like a healthy dose of like Toro y Moi coded angst into the world, and I love like hearing you kind of channel like the kind of angsty energy that's coming out of rap right now. What makes you feel angsty?
A lot of things, actually. Yeah, I mean, I do have a list of pet peeves. You know, I really, really dislike seeing people littering.
Yeah.
It enrages me.
New York must grind your gears.
If I see it, I mean, I know that that's just part of city culture, so I'm not gonna like lose my shit over it. But we stop at a stoplight and someone just throws something out the window, I just like really want to honk at them, but I don't. I'm not trying to get into some shit.
Right.
But like that stuff really, like, I'm like, just keep it until you get to where you're going.
Indeed.
Anyways, littering it does make me pissed. What else? I hate seeing other people get hurt.
Yeah. Physically or emotionally or both?
Both. That guy that just walked by, he was screaming in the street earlier.
Oh.
Because, like, someone called him the F word.
Oh my God.
He was, like, ready to punch this dude's lights out for honking at him, calling him the F word. I was like, this is so fucked up. It made me mad. Now his day's ruined. He doesn't know that I saw it.
Yeah.
But that's why he was...
Oh my goodness.
I was like, I know what he went through.
You witnessed. He didn't even know that you saw.
Discrimination. It's fucked up.
Real fucked up.
But yeah, I don't like those things. Trashing people and trashing the earth, it really just kind of like makes you wonder, like, what are we doing here?
And then we take that disappointment, we turn it into a beautiful pop punk song.
Basically, yeah. You just want to find your safe place.
Absolutely. I also really enjoyed listening to CDR. I love a healthy dose of nostalgia. You were talking about BlackBerry days. Did you ever own a BlackBerry at one point in your life?
BlackBerry was my first smartphone. That's when I really was like, I gotta take this music stuff serious. And so I was like on my email all the time, and it was worth it. And then everyone was like, why BlackBerry? Why not this iPhone that just came out? And I was just like, I know that iPhone's the best. I need to try everything before I live in an iPhone forever.
It was a time back then. The teeny tiny letters. You could like barely hit one with your finger. I had a BlackBerry for a short time as well. And I am very, very nostalgic for those days. And also definitely the days of burning CDs. Like I have so many memories of having like a little CD book in my mom's car, you know, different playlists we would burn. What are some of your fond memories of CDs that you burnt in the past?
The first CD is always like kind of memorable. I think for me it was a burnt CD that a friend gave to me like on the bleachers. We were like waiting for classes to start, and we would just sit in the gym. He brings me this blank disc. It has like all these songs. The one that stood out to me the most that I never heard was One Arm Scissor by At the Drive-In. I was like, dude, what is that last song you put on that mix? Like that was crazy. He was like, I got it off Napster. No, I got it off Kazam or whatever, which one ever. It might have been ShareBear, who knows. Anyways, I got that ShareBear program. I think it was maybe Napster even, and I just like crashed my computer trying to use it. But yeah, those were the days.
Those were the days. Have you burnt a CD in recent years?
I actually just did, like 2 weeks ago, for promo.
Love that. I miss being able to just like sit down on my home computer and burn a CD. They need to bring those back. They took all the little CD slots out of laptops.
But you know, they kept the CD slot in the car, so if they made cars burn CDRs, just saying, you could like burn CDRs and just give them out while you drive.
That would be super fun. Imagine like in the Tesla they need to do like a little like burn a CD like feature.
The Tesla, you can make beats in it.
Have you made a beat in a Tesla before?
No, I haven't.
I've played around with it before, and it's quite simple. You should give it a go sometime.
It looks easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like tailored for the average person who's not normally making beats.
I feel like there's gonna be someone who's gonna be like, this was all made in a Tesla. I'm sure that's already happened.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm gonna be scrolling on TikTok and be like, did I just make the first ever song fully produced in a Tesla? On Whole Earth, you've got a beautiful roster of collaborators, and I always love the way you approach your collaborations. We've got people on the project like Kevin Abstract, who's on Heaven. We've got Glaive on there,
Yeah.
which I was very stoked to see.
Yeah.
Got a little Kenny Mason, a little Don Tolliver. Tell me about how you went about curating your collaborators for Whole Earth.
It was very natural. These are the sounds I'm actually attracted to. We come from similar worlds already, so it just felt right to sort of bring them in for this record, being that it's channeling like a moodier, darker angst. And yeah, I really felt like this is the time to sort of like emphasize this mood. It's an interesting year. Shit's been going wild.
Indeed.
I'm not really thinking about love songs right now. It's like, it's more about a zoomed out picture of like, okay, we need to sort of reset our perspectives for a moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a very important time to do so. There's a lot going on in the world right now. We're in a real interesting place. I also want to ask you, again, kind of on the topic of collaboration, you're just such an effective collaborator. I feel like every time you get in the studio with someone, you just come out with something brilliant. What are your top 3 tips for a fruitful collaboration?
In no particular order, I would say listen is a big one. Listen to what they're saying, and it's sort of like if you both start saying something at the same time, try to be the one that stops talking first. And just like listen to what they're trying to accomplish. Number 2, I would say just have fun and have no agenda. If nothing comes out that day, then so be it. Number 3, I would say keep in touch. A lot of people think a collaboration is just the session or whatever, but I think really what even helped Whole Earth have all of these collaborations was just keeping in touch with these people as well. It's not just like get the song and then we're done. Same with Don. Like we've been talking and chatting since like 2016, 2017. And it's just like those kinds of relationships take time, where it's like both parties usually need time to sort of suss it out and just figure out like how to align.
Right. I love that. Keep in touch, and then when the timing is right, like the perfect collaboration will find its way to you.
Exactly. Maybe that thing that you didn't finish 5 years ago, 2 years ago, gets finished.
Do you have any songs in your discography that are an example of that, or maybe like an idea started off and then didn't finish until like a few years later?
The track with Don, Undercurrents, is actually a great example. I made that song back in 2020 when I was rapping Mahal, and I was like, this is not going on Mahal. And then I played the instrumental for Don, and he was like, yo, I have to hop on this one. And I was like, sure thing, man. Like, let's do it. Just put things on ice. You never know who's gonna hear it later and want to hop on.
I had one more question about collaboration, but while you bring up Mahal, I have to ask my one Mahal question, which is the paper mache heads thing that was done was one of the craziest ideas I've ever seen. I watched the entire thing and had a brilliant time. Tell me about how that idea was born, because I thought that was incredibly creative and super fun.
Yeah. I had this like aha moment in Mahal where I was like, okay, everyone's going through their shit because it's 2020. We're all in like lockdown. But I really didn't want to make the record tied to that moment in time. But humor stood out to me. I was like, how do we just like have fun with this campaign? Because everyone's kind of like going through it right now. And like I just, started thinking about who I think is funny. And like the animator slash like writer, Joe Kappa, has these characters and these skits that are genius. The one that stood out to me the most was he had this cartoon he made about all of the actors, the adult actors from Jurassic Park on smoke break in between shooting on set of Jurassic Park, and they're just talking about SNL.
Wow.
It's got a lot of lingo that is just funny. It's like very shop talk. And anyways, getting to shop talk, that's why I wanted to like have this piece that sort of resonated with music fans and musicians, where it was like, oh, you hear those drums? Anyways, yeah.
And they were just like, classic Chaz. Really, really great. Definitely one of my favorite like creative moments throughout all your album rollouts. That was really fun. But the last collaboration question I want to ask you, and this might be like a difficult question to answer, but if you zoom out and look at your entire career, do you have a collaboration that you're most proud of, or that is your personal favorite?
For some reason, my ear keeps going to Undercurrents again. Like, I really am like proud of that track, just because honestly, Aaron from Porches, his verse that he added, really brought it to this melodic place, and it really inspired my verse as well. And I had to figure out, how do I make a verse that fits in between Don Tolliver and Porches. So yeah, that's the fun challenge. But that's one of the coolest collaborations I've ever made, I think.
Wow.
I'm really, into it.
That's so exciting. I'm really, really excited to hear this, knowing now that this is like one of your favorite collaborations.
Yeah.
Are we ever going to see another Flume collaboration?
I hope so. Yeah, we have a couple of, like I said, like things just sitting on ice, waiting for the right time. Flume is up there as well with some of my top collaborations. That song was just in the Olympics during like the gold medal session for skateboarding, for men's skateboarding. He skated to The Difference, and he posted it too, and I was just like, okay. Way to go, Harley.
Oh my gosh. That song is absolutely mind-blowing. I love running to that song. It makes me want to run fast.
Yeah.
If The Difference were to score like a movie scene, what do you think that would look like?
Skydiving?
Ooh.
It's like pretty high energy.
Yeah, very high
I'd say
energy.
Tom Cruise Mission Impossible stuff.
Tom Cruise skydiving into the middle of a secret mission, but make it like a little more like wholesome, I would say.
Wait. Tom Cruise was in the Olympics.
He was. I saw
So
that
never
this
mind.
morning.
I think, it would have to be Tom Cruise skydiving into the Olympics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, kind of going back to your own music library and you as a music listener, what's the last playlist that you made?
I did make a playlist of things that inspired the record.
Okay. That's great.
Which is that CDR that I mentioned. It's Whole Earth CDR MP3s. Okay, we have Elijah Kessler.
Oh yeah, Elijah Kessler.
We have Porches, Blade, Glaive, Young Lean, Kenny Mason, Currents, Red House Painters, Narrowhead, Lil Yachty, Lil Keed, Kanye, Don Toliver, My Bloody Valentine.
Amazing. A little Men I Trust.
Yeah, Men I Trust. It's pretty all over the spectrum. But yeah, that was the first little MP3 mix I made in a good bit.
Very nice. Do you often make playlists around the music that's inspiring a record you're making?
Usually I make it before I start diving into the record. This one I made afterwards, and I was like, this is sort of where I think the record is going. So that was different. I haven't made a list like that before.
Beautiful. I love seeing that. It's so cool to like get that representation of like influences.
Yeah, it's almost like post-influences.
Yeah.
Because like, there were songs that were sort of maybe like lingering in my head, but I never actually listened to them during the process. It was just more the sonics sort of hit similarly.
The idea was like kind of floating in your subconscious, and then you were able to like pull it out of there afterwards and be like, oh yeah, this was in there somewhere when I was making the record.
Yeah, I think I would name that list Recommended If You Like, because it's like similar worlds, but they didn't influence that way. It was already made, but yeah.
Yeah. And what are some songs that are like on your summer playlist? What are you listening to during the summertime?
Honestly, the Clara record is a great 2024 summer record.
Great summer listen.
DR Hooker, The Truth. It's kind of like outsider psych rock from the 60s, 70s. Sesame Street.
Love. Love a Sesame Street. What were you listening to from Sesame Street?
Just the theme song. I like the theme song. Yeah, I sing it to my kid.
It's a fantastic theme song. Love that. What is the last song that you heard that stopped you in your tracks?
I listened to this playlist called Choral Chill on iTunes, and I found this this choir. It's called In Winter's House by Tenebrae and Nigel Short. This whole thing is crazy. It's just vocals, but it's like lots of thinking music and reflecting music. It's not as cold as the record makes it sound. It's pretty much good for any season, not just winter.
Okay, yeah, the cover was very, very wintry.
Yeah.
Cozied up in a cabin, sitting down with your thoughts. I'll definitely listen to that. Next thing I want to ask you, who is your favorite fictional character? And what would their favorite Toro y Moi song be?
It's Napoleon Dynamite.
Absolutely.
And John Heder was at my show 2 days ago. What's up, John?
Whoa.
So cool.
Very cool.
I'm pretty sure Napoleon Dynamite would listen to Toro.
Whoa.
Turns out he does.
He actually does. If you could guess, what do you think his favorite Toro y Moi song would be?
Probably something funky, something to do a little Jamiroquai dance to.
Yeah, right.
Probably like Ordinary Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see the dance to Ordinary Pleasure. That would be great.
That was surreal though, because I like DM'd. I saw that he followed me, and I was like, thanks for the follow. Like, I'm a huge fan. Like, he's like, I'll be at your show tonight in Seattle. Yeah, didn't get to meet him, but our photographer got a picture of him in the audience watching.
Wow.
Pretty cool. I respect John Heder too, because Napoleon Dynamite's the only thing he's basically done, and he's just like chilling.
The only Napoleon Dynamite there ever was. That's really one of the greatest achievements you can make on this earth.
It's also just a great film cinematically. It's really on point.
It is. I wanted to ask you a little bit about this shirt that I have on. This is one of my favorites. I've had this for a while. When did you come up with this little phrase. How did that come about? Reality's tight when the music is right. Very true.
Yeah.
Very on point. How did that happen?
You know, it's one of those moments that came to me when I was thinking really hard.
Thinking very hard.
I was thinking very, very hard. Because I realized, I was like, man, I'm basically selling shirts. Like, and I don't like shirts that are just pointless.
Right.
Like, I need there to be a story. I was really inspired by, honestly, it's the I Love New York shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And Milton Glaser, as a designer, his whole approach to just making something that was universal, never really attaching his name to it, kind of thing. For the design heads that know that Milton Glaser did it, great. Same thing with this shirt. I don't need it to be a Toro shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted it to live on its own and have its own story and fan base and have it just be its own thing.
It's a conversation starter. And although it doesn't say, like Toro y Moi on it, I think it very much speaks to like the Toro verse, and just the general ethos of what you've created, which is very much just like putting like great music in the center of everything you do and letting that be the first thing. And just very true, like reality is tight when the music is right. And anytime you're listening to Toro y Moi, things are right because the music is tight, So it works out.
Thank you. Yeah, I really do feel like music can completely reset your mood, or silence can as well. So maybe reality doesn't always require music. Maybe what we're looking for is just a little moment of silence.
A little moment of peace and silence. How often throughout your day are you listening to music, and how often are you just sitting with silence?
It's more silence than music, because music is a big part of my life. I try to find those moments without music and appreciate those, give my ears a break. Because when I listen to music, especially even on headphones, I like to crank it. I'm like essentially trying to drown out whatever is in the back. I'd say I listen to music maybe not including, what's in the radio or what's in passing, 10 to 20% of the day.
Okay.
Like not much. Maybe at the beginning of the day and after the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's good to give yourself space to breathe, in between all the music. Outside of music, what in life are you most excited about right now?
I did mention I have a daughter now, so that's pretty awesome. I'm just, enjoying dad life. It's a whole new project. It's like it's different than anything else. She's 7 months, so I'm now catching my breath. Mm-hmm. But that's why I'm here. I'm just like, I think I can go back out now.
Yeah. How do you feel like it's changed you thus far?
It kind of goes back to that partitioning your time. Mm-hmm. I have to slot out everything even more now. Everything is sliced a little bit thinner. Friend hangouts are 1 hour, not 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's like bittersweet, but it's joyful every second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Really, really excited for you. That's really beautiful. Well, I don't have anything else that I feel like I want to ask. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the people? Any words for the youth?
I am a United States Marine Corps. Bitch! I'm on my land and you're fucking invading. I need you on the U.S. Arizona to Syria immediately.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
She said it for me.
There it is. Left it all out on the table.
You're on illegal land.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Cool. Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yeah, that's New York for you.
Yeah. That's Tompkins Park on a Tuesday afternoon.